Hello and welcome to the Sportfish Spring Spectacular. I'm Simon Gawesworth. I'm going to talk to you about some RIO products. And the thing I'd like to talk to you about now, well, we get a lot of questions about this, is what is the difference in the various families or tiers of lines that we have at RIO? We essentially have two really high-end, premier, beautiful casting lines. We have our Elite family and we have our Premier family. And a lot of people ask, well, why should I get one over the other? For example, these are our RIO Goals, our best-selling, most wonderful all-round trout line we've ever designed. Just everywhere in the world, this is the best-selling line, and it's available in both tiers. So what do you get for the price difference? Well, first of all, both lines do have slick cast technology. Slick cast is the slickest fly line coating ever designed. It's been tested in labs. There's nothing slicker. So if you want your longest casting type line, make sure you get a line with slick cast. Apart from that, so both of them have that, but apart from that, what other differences are there? Well, the ones that are in the black stealth bomber type box, which is our Elite family, are built on a low stretch core. Stretch is much lower than our regular core, our regular Premier Gold. And you might ask what stretch does for you. Stretch, one good thing about stretch, it does protect light tippets and small flies that are hooked gently in the fish's mouth. There's a little bit of give in those lines. But really, that's about the only advantage, I think, in these stretchy fly lines. To me, the low stretch lines are the highest performing lines. First of all, without any shadow of a doubt, when a fish grabs and you've got a long cast out there, and the fish takes your dry fly or your buzzer or your lure, when you've got a stretchy line, you go to set the hook, there's a bungee effect. So your stretch takes out the kind of effectiveness of the strike. I don't like that. I like a low stretch line because I want to set the hook when I set the hook. So that's a really good advantage of a low stretch line. I also think playing a fish on a low stretch line is better because when a fish runs and you need to turn it away from weeds, you're pulling hard and you're moving the fish. You're not stretching the fly line. So a low stretch line is really good for playing a fish. And really another thing, as a caster, which I am, I love casting. As a caster, I like the control a low stretch line has. When you pick up the line to make a cast, you move the fly when you move the rod, instead of the line stretching and kind of losing the sensitivity and control on that. So the Elite lines all have a low stretch core. The Elite lines have three colors, what we call surefire. And the three colors simply, the middle color identifies the sweet spot of the line. So when you're casting and you're stripping your line in, you're holding the back color and you're pulling it in and you come into the second color and you're pulling it in, you come to the first color and you make your roll cast and you start false casting. Basically the sweet spot is that middle color. And so with these lines, you want to false cast until you've got all that first color outside the rod. And then that middle color, as I said, this is the sweet spot. It's the time to let that line go, let it fly, and you get the best performance out of it. Because if you keep cutting longer and longer lines as you're casting, and you get to that third color, well, that's where the line starts to get out of control, and you're really losing the stability of it. So the Elite lines do have this surefire triple color. The Premier lines have a two color, what we call dual tone. And really that's a similar thing, but it only marks the head and the running line. So it's good, but not quite as good as the Elite triple color surefire. And then really the other difference, they both have welded loops on here. They both have high floating tips, which is really good. A lot of lines don't have a high floating tip and the line tips sink. We have a high floating tip on both of these families, but they really are the only other difference is that this Elite family has a printed ID system, what we call Easy ID, and each fly line is printed about 3 feet from the front end. So you don't need to worry about sticky labels on your reel. You don't need to worry about, oh, I've got two of these golds. One was a 5 and one was a 6, and I don't know which is which, because it's printed on the line. So really, hopefully, that gives you a clue as to the difference between our Elite family of fly lines and our Premier family of fly lines, and you know where you can get them. You can get them right here at Sportfish.